Welcome to Market Blaster, where we blow apart the stock market and a little bit of world politics so that they make a little bit more sense. I'm Forbes Markets editor John Dobis. The news dominated by elections in both Greece and in France. Greece, of course, had some elections in the parliament, and France had a presidential election. The winner? François Hollande. He beat Sarkozy. He is going to be the new president of France, the first socialist in 17 years. No more Merkozy. In fact, there's a little bit of tension between the president-elect of France and the Chancellor of Germany. Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, she wants austerity to be the way that Europe gets over its economic ills. But Mr. Socialism in France, Hollande, he prefers to have a little bit of, a little bit of stimulus, a little bit of job growth. We got to grow our way out of this and, of course, borrow more. But we'll see if that works out. In Greece, over the Parthenon, there was more electrical storms and fireworks. There was a vote. You have Antonis Samaras. He could not form a party, a coalition to govern Greece. Now it's up to this 37-year-old gentleman here on his left, Alexis Tsipras. He's from the Syriza party, and they are looking to repeal all the austerity measures that Greece agreed to get about 310 billion euros, dollars, I should say, 190 billion euros in funding from Europe to bail itself out. So obviously this is creating a little bit of tension in Europe. Greece has the biggest change in its political complexion now since 1974. That's the year, of course, that Evel Knievel tried to jump the Snake River Canyon, and Dick Nixon quit the White House, and the last year that the Brady Bunch was on the air. So Greek politics undergoing seismic shifts. And Athens, of course, has been really no place to hang out for the past few months. There's been riots, shops have been closed down, and the economy's just grinding to a halt. So what this man right here, D. Fromage, and that's his lovely partner, what he wants to do, as I said, is to stimulate in a Keynesian fashion the economy, hire about 30,000 more teachers across France, or I think it was 60,000 actually. And he hopes, and of course this is appealing in Greece and other places that don't want to cut the budget. France has a budget officially about 100% of GDP right now, but total government debt about 100% of GDP. So they're not the worst offenders, but austerity, who wants it? We don't have it here in the U.S. The last time we had a socialist come to power in France was 1981 with this gentleman right here. His name, François Mitterrand. When he came, he didn't really things didn't fall apart. They didn't nationalize everything. He worked with President Reagan, Margaret Thatcher from the UK. Here he is this is at the Battle of Yorktown, the bicentennial commemoration right there with President Reagan. So this was really a great year of a great time of amity for Franco-U.S. relations. Here he is with Helmut Kohl, the Chancellor of Germany, overlooking a beautiful vista. Regardez la plage. So right now we've got to find out if Mr. Hollande is going to do things that will help Europe grow its way, in fact, out of this mess. And one way that they could do it is by prevailing upon this gentleman right here, Mr. Draghi from the European Central Bank, to be more accommodative in monetary policy, a la Ben Bernanke. Stimulate through monetary policy. It works. It's shown right here in the U.S. Well, meth is a good way to be more productive, but after a while it does take its toll. Little analogy right there in the economy. Stimulus is good to a point. Of course, France and Germany have to work out the relations because in the past, things have not always worked out. Germans, shall we say, have been in Paris before. But there was great amity that was struck between the two countries in the 1950s when there was an agreement on coal and steel signed by Konrad Adenauer and Charles de Gaulle from France. And since then, it's been a tight economic union. But right now, there's a lot of questions ahead of it. Austerity promoted by Germany and this new growth-oriented way to get out of our problems promoted by France and some socialists, and some not the socialists, but other parties in Greece. Stocks didn't mind socialism really one bit at all today. The S&P 500 index finished up 0.7%, 0.07%, spent the first part of the day down, but rallied off of the lows in the morning. France iShares up 1.3% on the day. These are the biggest stocks that trade in Paris. So French stocks react fairly well. We'd mentioned last week France Telecom paying a 13% dividend. France Telecom, a big mobile operator and a fixed landline operator. Here's the stock, not looking too great on the chart, but maybe time for a turnaround. Look how it's kind of come down for quite some time, formed a decent base, had earnings come out showing that revenue was down 2.8%. Analysts thought worse. hey, 13% yield. And if it can survive a socialist, it will probably grow. Bonds, the 10-year note, the yield is down to 1.88%. So there's still a lot of fear in the market, although stocks were bought too. Kind of a strange day. The euro was down too. Gold didn't quite gleam yet, but if you figure that the ECB will engage in a lot of money printing, gold would be a beneficiary at some point, but not today. One more thing I want to talk about. Wednesday, you got Priceline earnings. Bill Shatner may no longer be the pitch man, but you might want to take a ride with the Rocket Man. Look at Priceline. Basing out after a nice meaty run from $475 in early January to about $750 right now, $737, pulling back from the $760 area. Earnings come out on Wednesday. Not saying they're going to be great, but you know there's going to be action.